Roger Smith as Doyle Hobbs. Roger Laverne Smith was born on December 18, 1932, in Southgate, California, and was only 22 years old when he played Doyle Hobbs in Father Knows Best, 1956. A young, elegant, and ambitious man with good looks and self-confidence. This role, though brief, launched Smith's promising career on American television. But behind that charming smile was a journey filled with turmoil and challenges. Smith quickly rose to fame with his role as Jeff Spencer in the 1977 film Sunset Strip. But in the early 1960s, a blood clot in his brain nearly killed him, leaving him with lingering health problems and mental instability. During the filming of Mr. Roberts in 1965-1966, Smith continued to struggle with depression and mood swings, causing tension in his relationship with producers. Then, as he withdrew from public life to tend to the career of his wife, film star Anne Margaret, rumors of his over-controlling ways arose, leading to long-standing conflicts that the public never fully understood. By the late 1970s, Smith had largely disappeared from Hollywood, living so quietly that it was rumored that he had secretly checked into rehab, forcing him to withdraw from public life and quietly support Anne Margaret. On June 4, 2017, Roger Smith died in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles, at the age of 84, from complications of myasthenia gravis. His net worth at the time was approximately $2 million, accumulated through his acting career and management work. Vivi Janice as Myrtle Davis. Vivi Janice, whose real name was Vivian Audrey Jamison, was born on May 29, 1911, in Omaha, Nebraska, and was 43 years old when she played Myrtle Davis, a talkative but friendly neighbor, in the 1954 film Father Knows Best. Her character possesses a charming, humorous personality that leaves a strong impression on the audience. However, Vivi Janice's real life is full of uncertainties and unexpected dark corners hidden behind the smile on screen. After her first marriage to Robert Cummings broke up, Janice remarried actor John Larch, but the marriage was not a happy one. Rumors circulated of bitter arguments and even rumors of domestic violence, although no concrete evidence was ever produced. Jealousy and insecurity plagued Janice throughout her career, often causing her to refuse to work with younger co-stars for fear of losing the spotlight, leading to long-standing conflicts. During the making of The Ghost from 10,000 Miles, 1955, Janice constantly complained about her role and feeling left out, further eroding her self-esteem. Janice's once illustrious radio career faded as the industry favored younger artists. As a result, Janice felt lonely and ashamed at being overlooked. Even on the set of Father Knows Best, Janice loudly threatened to quit because she was unhappy with her airtime, creating considerable tension within the production team and further damaging her image. On September 7, 1988, Vivi Janice died in Los Angeles at the age of 77, ending a life marked by turmoil, struggle, and loss. At the time of her death, her net worth was only about $500,000, a sum she had accumulated through radio and television appearances and a few small stage roles, leaving behind a sad and unfortunate legacy. Jane Wyatt, Chung by Margaret Anderson. Jane Waddington. Wyatt was born on August 12, 1910, in New Jersey, and grew up in a prominent Manhattan intellectual family. In 1954, at the age of 44, she landed the role of Margaret Anderson in the television series Father Knows Best, transforming her into a gentle, exemplary mother who was loved by millions of viewers. Margaret's image became a symbol of sacrifice and forgiveness, earning Wyatt 3 consecutive Emmy Awards and cementing her reputation in American television. However, Wyatt's life was marked by intense stress and pressure. At the height of her career, she publicly opposed the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, and its communist witch hunt policies. This political stance led to her being unofficially blacklisted, boycotted, and losing many contracts, leading to financial crisis. These difficult years forced Wyatt to retreat to the New York stage, where she appeared in the play Autumn Garden with Frederick March, to maintain her passion for acting while quietly battling public pressure and damage to her reputation. Her seemingly perfect marriage to Edgar Bethune-Ward was also tumultuous. Political and religious differences caused periods of estrangement and distance between them, though they maintained the outward appearance of a close-knit family. Amidst these uncertainties, Wyatt continued to show her talent, playing Amanda Grayson, Spock's mother, in the Star Trek episode Journey to Babel, 1967, and then returning in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, 1986, a quiet affirmation of her professional worth despite setbacks and scandals. Towards the end of her life, Jane Wyatt suffered a mild stroke in the 1990s, but she quickly recovered and gradually withdrew from public life, living peacefully with her children and grandchildren. On October 20, 2006, she died peacefully in Bel Air, California, at the age of 96, leaving behind a net worth of approximately $4 million, including television and film contracts, as well as family investments. Ludwig Stossel, as Hans Ludwig Stossel, was born on February 12, 1883, in Austria, and was 71 years old when he played Hans in Father Knows Best, 1956. A quiet, intelligent European immigrant with sad memories of the war. On screen, Hans appears as a symbol of wisdom and optimism. But behind his elegant exterior, Stossel suffered from numerous psychological traumas after escaping from Nazi Germany, being imprisoned several times in Austria before successfully escaping to America. During his early years in Hollywood, Stossel was quite frail and played only supporting roles, even after he had established himself on the Berlin stage. Even after the success of Casablanca 1942, he remained deeply insecure, to the point that his colleagues rumored that he was paranoid, narrow-minded, and distrustful of those around him. Although he later starred in The Pride of the Yankees, 1942, and You Me, Lady, 1953, Stossel could not escape his fear of betrayal, which made him short-tempered, prone to fits of temper, and prone to swearing in German on set. Towards the end of his life, Stossel became increasingly reclusive, avoiding interviews because he believed the press was conspiring to distort his past. Although the public still remembers his catchy advertising slogan, "I am an old winemaker," this isolation cost him many friends, and he reportedly lived a reclusive life in his Beverly Hills home, speaking only to a few close relatives. On January 29, 1973, Ludwig Stossel died of natural causes related to old age, at the age of 89, just 2 weeks before his 90th birthday. His remains were cremated at Hollywood Forever and returned to Vienna, closing a courageous life. His net worth at the time was about $100,000, a modest sum given his long-standing but significant contributions to America. Billy Gray as Bud Anderson. William Thomas Gray was born on January 13, 1938, in Los Angeles, and at the age of 16, he played Bud Anderson, the smart and energetic middle son in the comedy Father Knows Best. He became a role model for American teenagers during the show's run from 1954 to 1960. However, when he stepped away from the spotlight, Gray struggled with harsh realities. The film industry never allowed him to experience a normal childhood. The rush to school, the makeshift shelters, and the loneliness of fame. Just 2 years after the film was completed, Gray made headlines when he was arrested for marijuana possession in 1962 and admitted to using the drug since he was 15, even while filming Father Knows Best. The case shattered Bud's good-natured image and nearly derailed his film career, forcing Gray to find a new path. In the 1970s, he took up motorcycle racing and began to make a name for himself as a racer and inventor, later achieving success with the creation of the F1 guitar pick, a product that was highly regarded by musicians. Gray repeatedly claimed that the show Father Knows Best was unrealistic and imposed limited expectations on him, leading to deep resentment toward the entertainment industry at the time. 2 failed marriages further cemented his rebellious reputation, but also contributed to the development of a free-spirited personality that was far from the ideal teenager. In 2025, Billy Gray is 87 years old and still lives in the Topanga, California, home he bought during the Daddy Knows era. He focuses on his business, collects motorcycles, and cherishes his independence, with an estimated net worth of $2 million. This is a testament to his journey of ups and downs, but also perseverance. Eleanor Donahue, as Betty Anderson. Eleanor Donahue was born on April 19, 1937, in Tacoma, Washington. She made her screen debut in 1954, at the age of 17, as Betty Anderson, the smart, charming eldest daughter of Best, the ideal of the American girl of the 1950s. The role catapulted her to fame, but it also cemented Donahue's image as a good girl, and she struggled for years to escape Betty's shadow. In the 1960s, Eleanor tried to reinvent herself with roles in television series like The Andy Griffith Show and The Odd Couple, but the pressure of comparison and audience expectations sometimes made her want to quit acting. Furthermore, her first marriage fell apart when she was very young, leaving her with deep emotional scars, self-doubt, and feelings of isolation, even at the height of her fame. Donahue later remarried to producer Harry Ackerman, had 3 children, and found stability, but admitted that she never fully overcame her fear of failure. During this time, she continued to appear in other television shows, such as Dr. Quinn and Medicine Woman, and occasionally played Betty in nostalgia projects to honor and shake off the burden of the past. In 2025, at the age of 88, Eleanor Donahue is still in great shape, occasionally appearing at Father Knows Best fan events, and is highly regarded for her grace and professionalism. Her net worth is estimated at $3 million, reflecting both her mental fortitude and her relentless passion for acting. William Fawcett as Mr. Trumbull, William Fawcett Thompson. Born September 8, 1894, in Georgia, was 60 years old when he appeared in the 1954 film, Father Knows Best. Playing Mr. Trumbull, a strange but kind character who brought tender and sympathetic moments to the audience. On screen, Fawcett was portrayed as a wise and kind man. In real life, however, he had an unpredictable and complex temperament that worried many people. Despite holding a doctorate and being respectfully addressed as Doctor, Fawcett was once suspended from teaching for alleged inappropriate behavior with students. The scandal was never fully resolved, but it was temporarily quelled by his status as a decorated veteran of the Legion of Honor. During productions of the Seminole Uprising in 1955 and the Comancheers in 1961, Fawcett continued to carry a pistol for fear of being harmed, and even vehemently accused a stagehand of vandalizing his property, creating an atmosphere so tense that many of his colleagues shunned him. His paranoia also spilled over into his personal life, gradually alienating him from his children. It is rumored that he had not spoken to them for more than a decade before his illness. Despite appearing in hundreds of films and being best known for his role as Pete Wilkie in Fury, Fawcett never had a close circle of friends, living a quiet life and always in a state of alert. On January 25, 1974, William Fawcett died of heart failure in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 79. His net worth at the time was only about $150,000. He is buried at Roselawn Cemetery in Minnesota, next to the Veterans Memorial. Henry Kulke as Max. Henry Kulke was born on August 11th in New York City and joined Father Knows Best in 1955 at the age of 43. He plays Max, a strong, somewhat awkward but sincere character. Known for his brilliant wrestling performance as Bomber Kulkovich, Kulke brought a charming sense of humor to the screen, but his personal life was tumultuous and dramatic. After achieving impressive success in the South American wrestling scene, Kulke struggled to find his footing in Hollywood, often losing his temper when he wasn't given roles that highlighted his athleticism. There was one incident where Kulke allegedly ruined a co-star's costume in a fit of rage, or became so aggressive that he was banned from popular bars. His brief marriage also ended amid rumors of domestic violence and a child he never acknowledged in Mexico, further damaging his reputation. He continued to work on Riley's Life, 1953-58, and then Hennessy, 1959-62, sustaining his career with his charisma. On February 12, 1965, Kulke died suddenly of a heart attack while discussing a script at the age of 53. He left behind a net worth of about $50,000, a modest sum that reflected a life of struggle, an unstable career, and a bohemian lifestyle. Harry Hickox as Verl Carson. Harry Milton Hickox was born on October 22, 1910, in Big Spring, Texas. At age 44, he played Verl Carson in Father Knows Best, 1955. A quiet and trustworthy neighbor who was always willing to help the Anderson family. On screen, audiences loved him for his gentle and sincere appearance. But off-screen, Hickox had a tumultuous personal life, a stark contrast to the warm image he portrayed. Throughout his career, Hickox dreamed of conquering Broadway, but he faced bitter failures that left him feeling resentful and dissatisfied. In the 1960s, while managing a local theater company, he faced fraud charges, and although he was never formally convicted, these scandals severely damaged his reputation. During the production of the musical The Music Man, 1962, his temper and alcoholism led to heated arguments with the director, and he was sometimes thrown out of rehearsals for aggressive behavior, negatively affecting his reputation in the industry. His marriage to Mary Louise McConnell, which lasted 50 years, also suffered. These public breakups, along with a rumored affair with a young jazz singer, gave Hickox a reputation for being unfaithful and emotionally indifferent. He promised to leave his wife for a new one, but never did, adding to the tension in his family. When he appeared in The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, 1966, Hickox had to put aside his personal scandals to play the role, but the scars on his reputation never really healed. Harry Hickox died on June 3, 1994, in Los Angeles at the age of 83 from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. At the time of his death, his net worth was only about $200,000, largely depleted by legal problems and a dissolute lifestyle. Sam Flint as Mr. Armstead. Sam Flint, whose real name was Samuel A. Etheridge, was born in Gwinnett County, Georgia, on October 19, 1882. He was 74 years old when he played the noble gentleman Mr. Armstead in the 1956 film Father Knows Best. In that film, he left a deep impression of dignity and kindness. Audiences remember him as a symbol of seriousness and honesty on screen. However, Flint's real life revealed a harsh reality, full of contradictions and quiet loneliness. In the 1930s, Flint was blacklisted by several theaters for insulting colleagues after he carelessly called one of his leading actresses a hawk, severely damaging his professional reputation. His overbearing personality and sharp tongue gradually alienated Flint from friends and colleagues, forcing him to take supporting roles, such as in It's a Wonderful Life in 1946, just to keep his name. His marriage to Ella Etheridge was also tumultuous, with Flint famously making a rule that he would not take a role without his wife, leading to conflict and deep isolation within the artistic community. It was later rumored that Flint cut off contact with his children after a heated argument, and even disinherited one of them in his will, leaving a psychological scar that never healed. He lost most of his close friends, leaving only skeptics in supporting roles, such as his final performance in the play Head 1968 with the Monkees, a feeble attempt to recapture his former fame. On October 17, 1980, Flint died in Los Angeles, just 2 days before his 98th birthday, of undisclosed causes. His net worth at the time was estimated at $100,000, reflecting his turbulent career and reclusive lifestyle. Eleanor Audley as bookstacker. Eleanor Audley, née Eleanor Zellman, was born November 19, 1905, in Newark, New Jersey. At age 51, she played bookstacker in the film Father Knows Best, 1956, a supporting character whose brief appearance left an impression of confidence and composure. On screen, Audley always exuded authority and sophistication, but in real life, she harbored many deep secrets, completely opposite to the calm demeanor that audiences admired. Audley was known for her distinctive voice, voicing Lady Tremaine in Cinderella, 1950, and Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, 1959, but her strict, perfectionist personality earned her a reputation as a difficult voice actress. She was once accused of insulting a young actress over a minor pronunciation error, creating a stifling and tense atmosphere in the studio. In the late 1960s, she was even dropped from a major voiceover project for being difficult to work with, a development that hampered her career and left Audley lonely and alienated from her colleagues. Her personal life was also filled with controversy, as she never married, lived a private life, and rumors of her secret relationship with a costume designer, kept secret due to social prejudices at the time, gradually turned Audley into a recluse. In the last decade of her life, despite the fame she had achieved with Disney, she rarely left her home. On November 25, 1991, Eleanor Audley died in Los Angeles of respiratory failure at the age of 86, ending a tumultuous career with an estimated net worth of $1 million, largely from her iconic voice acting roles. Her legacy is both magnificent and lonely. Robert Folk as Ed Davis. Robert C. Folk, born May 5, 1908 in Omaha, Nebraska, was 46 years old when he appeared in Father Knows Best, 1954, as Ed Davis, a friendly and witty friend of the Anderson family. On screen, Ed Davis was witty and easygoing, but off-screen, Robert Folk had a darker and more intense side. His tall and imposing personality led to rumors that he mistreated extras and crew members, earning him the nickname the Backstage Sheriff. His first marriage to actress Alice Frost was reportedly quite public, and the couple were rumored to have had an affair in the 1950s, creating a tense family atmosphere. During the filming of The Left-Handed Gun, 1958, Folk was also criticized for his arrogance and temper, which strained his relationship with the film crew. His second marriage to Barbara Slater seemed more stable, but his persistent gambling addiction continued to haunt him, forcing him to take sporadic television roles to cope with his financial problems. His gambling drove Folk to the brink of bankruptcy in the late 1960s, forcing him to turn down major projects and take smaller roles on the television series Green Acres and Bonanza to pay off his debts. His rigid, uncompromising personality increasingly alienated the rapidly changing Hollywood landscape, causing his career to continue to flounder for the rest of his life. Robert Folk died on February 25, 1989 in Los Angeles of heart disease at the age of 80, leaving behind a net worth of approximately $300,000, his gambling addiction having wiped out most of his life's work. Claudia Breyer as Miss Woodruff. Claudia Breyer, whose real name was Hortense Risley, was born on May 18, 1918 in Oklahoma, and was 38 years old when she played Miss Woodruff in Father Knows Best, 1956. A stern but kind woman who charmed viewers with her dignity and determination. The role was a small one in Breyer's television career, but it still demonstrated the mature, steady acting style she had cultivated throughout her life. Born into a family of congressmen and later married to actor Paul Breyer, Claudia feared being overshadowed by the stars around her. This insecurity led to many conflicts with producers about her being relegated to supporting roles. Even when she starred in Psycho 2, 1983, Breyer feared that audiences would quickly forget her. Her cold, reserved personality further alienated her colleagues, and her relationship with her son, musician Paul Barrere, became strained because she could not accept his free-spirited lifestyle. Breyer later became paranoid, believing that her former colleagues were conspiring to keep her from appearing on screen. Finally, on June 16, 2011, Claudia Breyer died in Los Angeles at the age of 93. She left behind a net worth of approximately $200,000, mostly from supporting roles and a small savings account. Donald Curtis as Eddie Gilbert. Donald Curtis was born on February 27, 1915, in Spokane, Washington, and joined Father Knows Best in 1954 at the age of 39 as Eddie Gilbert, a sophisticated, self-assured character who in part reflected his own complicated life. Curtis began his career as an academic, then became an actor and preacher, building both an artistic career and a controversial spiritual movement. After leaving the film industry, Curtis, whose real name was Curtis D. Rudolph, sought out relationships with leading spiritual cults but was accused of manipulating and exploiting the faith of his followers to raise large sums of money for the Universal Consensus Conference. He is also said to have led a failed spiritual retreat in the Mojave Desert that left several people dead, although he was never formally charged. As an actor, Curtis appeared in the 1947 Broadway play Caribbean Carnival and in the 1950 television series Detective's Wife. But his temper, such as walking off set and calling the director a psychotic child, alarmed producers. Despite his calm philosophy, Curtis was prone to anger and often contradicted his own teachings. According to friends, he died in 1997 at the age of 82 of undisclosed causes, leaving behind an estimated $200,000 fortune, amassed through acting and religious work, and a legacy that was both admired and disputed.